and thank you for finding me here at my original YouTube channel, Benidorm and Beyond. I produce positive, newsy and informative videos on a regular basis about Benidorm, where I have lived for well over 2 decades now. So if you enjoy this vlog, please consider becoming a subscriber so you'll never miss any of my brand new content as I upload it in the future. Today I'm continuing my long-established series, Benidorm's brand new bars and businesses, which each time shows you a whole host of befores and afters that you may not have seen since you last visited the resort. These consist of bars, restaurants, shops and other businesses that have all opened under new guises in old premises, and as always I've tried to be as precise as possible with all my info, as I always aim to be. This is a 17th instalment of my popular and original series, so please feel free to check out my previous 16 vlogs, and let's get started right now on number 17. Today we start in the new town area, the junction of the Avenida de Europa and Calle Girona, and just along from the Hotel Belroy and the HB Hotel Benidorm Centre, we see what were formerly the very large corner premises of the Telepizza restaurant and takeaway business have now been given a full refit and rebuild. This has transformed them from a rather bland, generic red and white building into a vibrant burger bar called Eateries, who are a chain who have several burger restaurants in the region, including in nearby Alicante and other cities and resorts such as Torrevieja, Santa Pola, Orihuela and Murcia. And as I have passed on weekend evenings, the place has been full to bursting, which is always fantastic to see for a brand new business. Now in the very centre of the new town, where along the busy thoroughfare of the Avenida del Mediterraneo, we see what was previously the Santa Margarita coffee shop and bakery, has now become the Cayman Baby Bar, named after its sister venue, the Cayman Beach, on the beautiful Levante Promenade. If you want to find out about some of Benidorm's most popular hotels, just search YouTube, Fly on the Wall, followed by the name of the hotel you're looking for, and all the info will be at your fingertips. It's that simple. Moving over to the pedestrianised shopping street of Calle Gambo in the Old Town, we see that the silver jewellery shop of Mercado de la Plata has now become another accessory store, this time in the shape of Bella Joya, meaning beautiful gem. Moving along to the corner junction of the two busy thoroughfares of the Avenida de Europa and the Avenida del Mediterraneo, we see what was formerly the Golden Steakhouse, which now has a restaurant on Food Street along the start of Calle Girona, has now transformed into Buffalo Burgers, promising steaks, meatballs and of course burgers, as well as a brewery inside. Moving up to the north of town, along Avenida de Alfonso Puchades, which is the street where Clinica Benidorm can be found, we see what was previously the large but rather tatty Chinese shop Ipa Real has now been given a complete makeover and turned into a modern new car showroom called Concoches.es. Heading into the Rincon de Loix area, and not far from the popular tourist hotels of the Calypso and the Flash, we see what was formerly an empty unit next to a super tacky mini-mart, but which was a cabaret bar many years ago, has now become yet another tattooist studio in this part of town called Tattoo Zeus. Now heading deep into the heart of the old town, along Avenida de Rizafa, which is home to the Magic Crystal Park Hotel, amongst others, we see what was formerly a store called Naturales, selling CBD products, has been converted into a smart new barber shop called Final Touch. Moving back to the popular Rincon de Loix area again, along Avenida de Metlla de Mar, which runs all the way down to the beach, we see what was previously a small empty unit next to the Kebabish Curry House and Takeaway, has become the men's only hairdressing salon of Joselito Dos. Staying in the Rincon, and now at the top of Avenida de Juan Fuster Zaragoza and nearly adjacent to the 12th Man Bar, we see what was before just an empty locale is now the Azim Barber Shop. Once more in the Rincon de Loix, as this area really does just get more popular and more populated, along Calle Girona, just under the Playmont Virginia apartment block and directly opposite the well-known bars of the Silver Dollar and the Piccadilly, We see what was formerly just an empty unit waiting to be taken on by a new business for the first time has now become yet another fast food restaurant and takeaway called Kebabish Original. And with the competition of the well-established 24-hour food business of Mariano's opposite, I wish them lots of luck, as they will surely need it. Whizzing back over to the Avenida del Mediterraneo again, we see what was previously just an empty unit next to the XXXL t-shirt shop has now become the modern fashion store of Emare, selling top designer brands in their completely refurbished premises. Now in the very centre of the new town, along Avenida de Cuenca, we see what was previously a closed-down business standing empty is now the Making Memories tattoo studio. And although I am now aware this has been open a few months, it's something I've only noticed recently and therefore not shown before. Scooting over to the centre of town, along the Avenida del Mediterraneo and just by the Hotel Belroy, we see what used to be the Pyro men's and women's fashion wear shop is now the Secrets lingerie store, with their previous larger business further along this road on the other side, now closed down for good. Back into the midst of the old town, along one of its many tucked away traffic-free streets along Carrer de la Biga, we see what was formerly the very popular Four Seasons restaurant has now been given a brand new look and has reopened as the proud British cafe bar, The Lion. If you'd like to support my channel and future vlogs by making a small donation, you can now buy me a coffee, or even 2 or 3. Just click on the down arrow next to the vlog title, which brings you to the description of this video. Then follow the link provided at the bottom. It's really that simple. Thank you so much. In the centre of town, at the very beginning of Calle Girona and the pedestrianised section known as Food Street, we see a small business that has changed hands multiple times in the last year or so, being both the Italian restaurant of De Mustache and the steakhouse of Leños Parrilla. It has now become the extremely attractive venue of Gastromania Grill, which has some very good reviews online, so might just be worth checking out. Next we move along to the old town once more, where about halfway down the long shop-filled avenue of Avenida de los Almendros, we see what was previously the coffee shop and bakery of Moderna, which was closed down for quite some time, has now transformed itself after weeks of renovations into the modern ophthalmology centre of Clinica Baviera. Along the same road, only further up and on the other side, we see that the former jewellery and gold buying store of Joyas con Glamour has now become a branch of Vapors Low Cost, who also have another shop near to the Poniente Beach, selling all things vape related as well as a selection of CBD products. Moving across to the Newtown area again, along the ever-changing main traffic vein of the Avenida del Mediterraneo, we see that the previous ice cream parlour and large outside terrace of Häagen-Dazs has now been taken over and given a clean-up and revamp to turn it into the Jolly's Cafe, cocktail bar and ice cream vendor, with the old Häagen-Dazs advertising sign having recently been covered up with black bin bags so customers don't get confused with which brands of ice cream are actually on sale inside. Not that new, but again something I haven't showed in full before in the Rincon de Loix area along Calle de Ramador is that the old Benny Scooter mobility shop and its neighbouring closed up unit have now become Uncle Ped's bar very own food kiosk called Patty Bros Take and Go, and also the Uncle Ped's sports games salon respectively. Once more in the Rincon and inside the precinct known as Torre Principado, just off the Avenida del Mediterraneo, we see what was previously a private doctor's clinic called Excellent Medical has now become a tattoo parlour and piercing studio. Further along the Mediterranean Avenue, but in the New Town area, we see what were formerly the side-by-side businesses of a barber's salon and the children's clothes shop of trendy kids fashion have now become a small General Electrics and tech store, as well as the mobility scooter rentals and sales business of MFS, standing for Mobility Factory Sales. Along the pedestrianised shopping street of Calle Gambo again, we see what used to be the Beetle Lukita sunglasses store and the Arpel shoe shop respectively, have now been completely taken over by their neighbours Calzedonia, who sell legwear and swimwear, with a new branch of Tesenis also appearing in this space imminently, who are also owned by the Italian Calzedonia chain. Right in the upper section of the Old Town and at the corner junction of Carrer Thomas Ortuño and Calle de Mate, we see that the previous lingerie business of Intimate Secrets has now closed down for good, to be replaced by the offices of DM Energy, who can provide you advice on all energy-related matters. Further down Carrer Thomas Ortuño, on the traffic-free section full of independent shops, we see a venue that I showed you just briefly in my last new business vlog, but that wasn't fully opened. Formerly the fashion retail store of Sendin, it's now become the fabulous takeaway churro shop of Churreria Modelo, with queues often backing up into the street as patrons wait patiently for their hot donut-like sweet treats. Staying on Carrer Thomas Ortuño for our penultimate business, we see that the previous cafe, bar and tapas venue of Maison El Bembaret has now stayed as much the same type of business, but is now called the NP El Cafecito, with a brand new orange sign and offers displayed outside. And finally, we head back to the beginning of Calle Girona along the section known as Food Street due to its high concentration of wonderful bars, cafes and restaurants, where we see what was formerly the bar of Cerveceria Monteditos has now become a new Italian bistro and pizzeria called Delizioso. This brings us to the end of today's vlog, and I hope that you've enjoyed this latest tour with me of a whole new batch of bars and businesses in town that you may not have seen since you last visited Benidorm, and let's hope they all have a very successful and bright future ahead of them. If you did like this video, I'd ask that you please give it a thumbs up and like it, or maybe just add a comment or an emoji, or share this vlog, or consider subscribing to the channel if you haven't already done so. Also, feel free to drop me a line in the comments section if there is something or somewhere you'd particularly like me to include in the future, and as always, I'll see what I can do. Bye for now, take care, and hopefully catch you again soon. Cheers!